Romans 8, because I didn't want to, I'm not ignoring it.
Chapter 8, verse 1 and 2.
All right. Romans 8, 1 and 2. There is therefore now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. For the law of the Spirit of life in Christ Jesus has set me free from the law of sin and death. Okay? Let's go on. Those are the two verses. And that's nice and clear. If you're in Christ Jesus, no condemnation. Carrying on from verse 3. For God has done what the law, weakened by the flesh, could not do, sending his own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin, he condemned sin in the flesh, in order that the just requirement of the law might be fulfilled in us. So that builds on what you drew me to, showing the Jewish law does not save you. It may be a guidepost, but it cannot save you. But to complete what St. Paul says, I said, the just requirement of the law might be fulfilled in us. Who are us? Who walk not according to the flesh, but according to the Spirit. So we must do that walk according to the Spirit. If we walk according to the flesh, and we know that many people call themselves Christians, and I would say there are many who start off as Christians, but they leave the faith. In fact, I'd say, talking about Catholic priests who are preeminently trying to take the life on, focused totally on Jesus, but some of them go off the rails, as we've heard in the news. But when they were young men, I'd say they probably really believed, because you don't give up everything to go for that life.
Can I add something there?
Oh, before you do, should we finish off St. Paul on this? Yeah. It says, for those who live according to the flesh set their minds on the things of the flesh. For those who live according to the Spirit set their minds on the things of the Spirit. And then go to verse 12. So then, brethren, and this is not far off from what we were reading. So then, brethren, we are debtors not to the flesh, to live according to the flesh. For if you live according to the flesh, you will die. But if by the Spirit you put to death the deeds of the body, you will live. And finishing off that section, verse 17, he says, and we are fellow heirs with Christ. But he says, it gives a condition, provided we suffer with him, in order that we may also be glorified with him. So the whole picture that St. Paul is painting is, you're in Christ, no condemnation. No Jew from the Sanhedrin or from the Pharisees can say to you, you're condemned because you're not following the food laws or all the other laws that they have. But you must live according to the Spirit. And he says to those Christians, yeah, we must suffer with him so that we're glorified with him. We can't just say, okay, I've got no condemnation, so all right.
Take up your cross and follow me.
Exactly. And that's really what that is what Catholicism taught before the Reformation, during the Reformation, and after the Reformation. The Church never taught that your prayers are any good without Christ. Otherwise, we could have said to them, when St. Francis of Assisi, during I think the Fourth Crusade, went into the camp of the Muslim leader at the time, he crossed the Crusader lines. He didn't say to that Muslim, just say the rosary and you'll be all right. He didn't say that. He was saying to the Muslim, you must convert to Christ. Amen. Now, the Muslim leader apparently said, look, I can't do that. I see what you're saying, but I can't do that. They'll kill me otherwise. Right? Well, Francis left the camp of the Muslims and went back to the camp of the Crusaders. And the rest is history. Key point is, the missionaries of the Church that have gone out all the time into the various parts of the world, be they the West, South America, the East, Japan, Korea, you must convert to Christ. Don't just say follow your gods and say a few prayers and do good. I say this because this is what the Church was doing before the Reformation. Say the prayers, but if you don't believe in Christ, you're wasting your time. Do good. If you don't believe in Christ, you're wasting your time. We've always said the same thing. And that's why we disagree with Luther, whose unique contribution was to say, just believe in Christ, but you don't have to do all these good things. Because salvation by faith alone, and it's a mistake. Salvation by faith is what we teach, but faith working through love. And that's where all the different Christian groups could come together.